Welcome back to J&J Monday on a Sunday. Well, in this case, it's actually Monday. We normally going back to our Monday route because it is a holiday. Originally, we were supposed to do it yesterday. Something came up, couldn't do it yesterday. Had to reschedule it for Monday. Almost forgot that I didn't tell my partner about it because she actually texted me at 12 in the morning. But we're here. We have a few announcements to make regarding this channel, regarding the future of it being in Manic Expression, and basically just pressing the restart button altogether. So there's a whole lot of stuff I want to talk about. Before I get on, it has been a few months. And by the way, this is actually episode one all over again, so keep that in mind. This is
I can't count, so the numbers mean nothing to me.
This is episode one all over again because, frankly, we had a situation, or I had a situation, which I will explain because Joshkin was on a family retreat with a fiance, and we had a co-star, which we was in the midst of doing something, and then my microphone decided to die out on me, or may I say, the headphone piece. What has happened, which is something that I tend to neglect a lot, and now I'm not going to do that, especially with my new microphone, in which I'm going to get another one for quality. Is that the one thing they always tell you, Josh? What is the one thing they tell you about putting something in USB and then taking it out? What's the first thing they have to always tell you to do?
Just do it.
No, and that was my problem right there, and that cost me my microphone.
Yeah, I usually with the USB, if it's like a Kindle, I'll disconnect. But with this microphone, I just take it out.
Well, you might want to reconsider that first. You might want to make sure the power is off from your USB drive because that's exactly what happened. Apparently, uh, the USB port, which, by the way, if you ever had these type of headphones, they have an internal drive within the USB port. It looks like a big giant ball, but there's a reason. So that way, not much power will resurge in the microphone and shows on the microphone. That's why I always like Logistic because they're very, very good. The problem is they're very heavy and it tends to weigh on the USB port a lot. So if you tap it wrong, you automatically can lose the source of lose connection. Josh had a few problems with that, and I had a few problems with that on occasion. I had to turn off and restart the whole thing over again because they've lost connection and it tends to malfunction Google Hangouts. Not Google Hangouts' fault is the way it is. So that's the flaw of the design. Well, this happened on a number of occasions when I was doing the podcast about a month and a half ago, pretty much 2 months. And what happened was, instead of just actually making sure that the electrical surge was not boosted into the USB drive, I just pulled it out. That short the whole system. So that what happened was, and I found out because here's the thing: my headphones actually, microphone piece of my old headphones still worked. It was the headphones in general. It just was shorted out. It was gone, and that's the disadvantage. Like Geek Squad have said, by you pulling out the USB, whether it's a memory USB drive or anything that has a USB port, just pulling it out without making sure you turn off the USB port manually first, you're risking shorting out the system because the power is still going in there. There's electrical surge still going in there. So a little advice before you go in, find where that USB thing is. It should be anywhere between in your right in the side of your taskbar. Shut it off and then pull it out. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like me, losing a very valuable equipment all because you kept yanking the stuff back and forth. Turn it off first. Um, in all, it took me a while to get these headphones back because one, my finance was not as good as it was, and two, a lot of the electronic stores simply stopped selling it. They just stopped selling it, and it took me a long time. I had to go to Staples, in the Bronx, to find what I was looking for. The one I actually wanted, um, they was too stiffy for when I originally got it because I got it on sale. I believe you got it on sale. I believe you paid only $19 for yours, right?
For what
For your yeah,
I can't
19.
remember.
Never remember.
I don't know. Probably it wasn't really that much.
It
I
was
don't
at $49. Just stunned for some reason.
I don't know.
It wasn't.
I'm waking up. My blood pressure's going down again, so it's.
Well, anyway, that was the whole thing, and so yeah, it's been a crazy thing to find this. So I had to do with this one because it actually fit my budget. But I am going to be looking to get newer headphones, especially those who have more stronger filters. And the reason is I got to do a lot of work, and these, although good, and I tested them, they're very, very good. The volume quality isn't that great. I don't have a volume control on these, so I hit the old ones. And two, I want to do a lot more than just regular podcasting and just stuff, and I need a quality headphones. The problem is the headphones that I want and headphones that are made for that cost anywhere between $100 to $300. So they're not cheap at all.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few good street corners you could go on,
Not for these. The place I went to, the stand to have the microphone, the microphone stand that you always see the news guys have and most podcast radios have.
Yeah.
It costs almost $75. And that's not the microphone. That's just the stand to keep your microphone in place.
Oh fuck.
So it's very expensive, and the best ones, ironically, is not in electronic stores. You'd be surprised. Places that sell musical instruments have the best microphones. That and B&H. I don't think you have a B&H in Florida.
I don't think so.
So that's the whole thing. But it did give me a chance to reset the show. The show actually had a brief stop. We're not having a mid-season finale. I mean, right off the bat, we're just gonna go right straight through because I gotta make it for 8 episodes. So we're gonna go right straight through.
Oh, I guess I should update you on where I'm going to be. Censor.
So do it off the screen because, like I said, I'm not gonna commit to any week by week. Okay. It's when you're free, when I'm free.
But basically,
and if I
this is the last Monday this month that I'll be able to. I'll be over at Rev Resner's from the 11th to the 24th. Sorry, like right when I get back from Rev's, I immediately have 3 doctor's appointments in a row, and for a second there, I thought it was all the same.
Well, here's the thing. We don't do. This is the first time in over 2 years we did a Monday show. We're not doing another Monday show, so don't worry about that. All the shows are Sundays.
Yeah, this would be the. The 10th will be the last Sunday this month. I'll be here.
That's good. Okay. Well, don't worry. The show's gonna go on.
Oh yeah, good. No. Let's see. I'll be returning the 24th, so I may arrive in the morning or in the evening, or as a corpse in the back of a truck.
Like I said, I'm not making any plan schedule for an upcoming episode. As whoever is free, I will make an announcement. I will do pretty much an extension. That's pretty much the gist of it. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Power here, Juice. Can you? Here you go. Thank you. No problem. All right. So, as I said, there's a lot of Starbucks, so people need power too. I'm not the only one. All right. So this is the deal. All right. We're still doing season 3. We're starting back from 1. I still got the other episode. I'm gonna do it as a pre-episode. And the episode I did with Kat, with me and her on it, that actually got to be pushed back. I had to take out the whole show because it was only 10 minutes long before the whole thing went down to 2, which is unfortunate. But the good news is that I had it 20 minutes, make it 10 minutes before my microphone decided to quit on me.
Oh my God! I didn't realize it was in the middle of it. Not even in the middle of an episode. That sucks.
Yes, it really was I'm surprised Kat didn't tell you, but it was very, very bad.
I don't know, because I was imagining like like you were setting things up and shit happened, or like afterwards shit happened.
We was getting into it, and all of a sudden, boom.
Oh my God! I sort of wish I was there now. I mean, what?
It was a disaster. I mean, if you was there, the show would have probably went on. So, because you would definitely kept it going. But
just laughing at your sorry ass for 2 hours.
But we try to fix it. We actually there was signs already because she had a hard time getting on the for some reason Google Hangout. She had a hard time getting on there. She finally got on there. It was doing good. And next thing you know, the headphone issues just got worse and worse. And it definitely came back in a way that just said, you know what, the hell with it, you're done. The microphone still works, but that I can't use the headphones in general anymore. The microphone actually does work, which I found out late when I was trying to see if I can any hope of surviving it, because I did see a little bit of glimpse of light. You know that light you see on your volume control?
Yeah.
It's very dull. So I said something is working. I just don't know what it was, and it was the microphone, but not the headphones in general. But let's be realistic. The headphone was hanging by a thread anyway, because number one, it was broken over here. The wire started coming loose. It was due to happen, but the final nail in the coffin was the USB. USB basically shorted the whole thing out. So, but it gave me a chance to restart the whole thing. They're going to try something new. And it gave you a chance to spend more time with your fiance. Which, by the way, how was that?
It was good, and since I didn't have to worry about podcasts when I was home, I got to write more of the fic, so that was nice. And then I got to write the fic and enjoy Game of Thrones when the episodes came on, even though this season was just... Oh, fuck.
I heard it was a disappointment.
It was okay. Tell me.
That's what I heard.
I will fucking go on for a few hours. So you need to say, okay, Josh, this is when you can talk about it, because I will not be able to be shut up.
All right, but here's the thing: did any major characters died in the series?
No, the thing is,
they're setting up.
Okay. The thing is, these characters, fucking major characters, survive situations that they wouldn't have survived in earlier seasons. Like,
okay. Well,
why the fuck did Jaime or Bronn not die when, Drogon breathed fire at Jaime, and how were they able to fucking swim so far down the river, never once surfacing and Daenerys didn't notice, so there was, no repercussions for that. When they went north of the Wall, the majority of the people survived, and only Thoros of I don't give a fuck, and then Viserion died, and no one else and Uncle Benjen, but you don't really count him.
Upset. You can't even stay in one. You can't even stay in one viewpoint. You're just so all over the place. You're that upset.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do a nice little mishmash of things instead of going on forever. And then you don't really talk about Uncle Benjen, because all he did was hey, I'm here to die. Hey.
But here's the thing, though, and I'm hearing a lot of people being disappointed. You do realize this one episode.
There was a major character that died, Littlefinger, but it's like he was at the end of his storyline anyway, so it's.
But here's the thing, I don't understand. You guys know that this is one season broken up into 2 seasons.
The thing is, it was rushed. The thing is, the writing quality could have done so much better. Like Breaking Bad's final season. Hang on.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad's final season was split up. That was fucking good. But this was just the writing, and the writing quality was bad. Characters were wasted, and it was just I like some scenes.
You don't have the resources of J.R.R. Martin anymore. They're not going with that resource. This is the difference here.
No, but still, it's like they wanted to do a Jon and Daenerys relationship, and they could have done it so well. Like, before the season started, I'm like, okay, they're going to have to rush this, but at least if they do it well, I'll be, hey, okay, I'll be shipping it, because I'm a multi-shipping whore. But, and so, they could have had some interesting perspectives of, Daenerys having to deal with, maybe falling for someone, and, her quest for the Iron Throne being so big, and, dealing with, political marriage or marriage of love. And then Jon would have to deal with the fact that he has some barriers against, having sex. He was raised to think he was a bastard, so that's why he didn't, really have sex before. And then the death of Ygritte, cut his libido, and so he could have to deal with that. But the thing is, the showrunners just didn't deal with any of those subplots that would have made it interesting about how them and opening up to each other. Instead, all we got was, they're so in love, you gotta believe it. Look at, they're making puppy eyes at each other. And look how they look at each other. Oh my god, they're so in love. And it's just like...
Okay, here's the thing.
And so I get the rushed thing, but the thing is, they should have fucking dropped it so they wouldn't have to deal with it. So they wouldn't have to deal with a rushed, forced romance.
Here's the thing. I'm not excusing the rush thing, because here's the thing: they had a while to sort out the source material, sort out the series. I don't want to hear about the rush thing. There's no excuse for it. You only have 8 episodes to deal with this season. That was the whole thing.
No, okay? There was 7 episodes, not 8.
7, 8. It's not like you have 24 episodes to deal with. You had like a short amount of episodes. It should not have been this big of a problem. Here's the thing: this is why I have a problem with 2-parters. The same thing with Sopranos. I think Breaking Bad was the only exception in the entire entire series that was successful and has a good following. But the Sopranos did this, and Sopranos, I think, is worse. At least with Game of Thrones, they had a pretty great run with their series. I don't think there's too many series that you can actually say this was a big letdown, especially the one leading up to this. When you break it up into 2 parts, you tap one, it just feels like you're just watering down the first part, just so you can make a big epic final finale, and it drives me nuts, because just worry about this season, and then after then finish
when you're talking about the build up for part 2. I think that's why there was really no major character deaths this season, so that they could have big epic deaths next season.
That's why I say it's one season, just broken up into 2 parts. We know after next year, once the next season comes in, that's the last one. There is no more after that. Now, whether they do a spin-off, which I'm hearing rumors about, and I'm hoping
doing a spin-off. They're doing a spin-off, but we just don't know what the spin-off will focus on. We know that it will not focus on Robert's rebellion, so those rumors can shut the hell up, because that has been shut down by George R. Martin himself.
Here's the thing. This is the disadvantage they have. They're not going by general source materials, which I can live with that. Fine. He's taking too long with the book. We don't really know how he's going to end it in this series.
Oh, we don't know if he's actually going to finish writing the books. That's like a little joke I see floating around.
Yeah. But if you're going to go with a whole different direction, take the time to sort out the details. I don't like when they do this. The Sopranos, look, I like the Sopranos. I love Sopranos season 1 and 2. 3 was a hit and miss. 4 looked like they was going to come back. But once they got to that last thing where they broke the 2 episodes, I said, why? There's no sense in doing that. You just drag the first season, and then when you get to that second season, everything that should have been in that part 2 should have been right here in part 1, and it led to one of the most dumbest climactic finales I've ever seen in all television series. That was a horrible movie to say. I don't know who thought that was the right thing. I'd rather see it have an ending. Now, I understand there was rumors about it being a movie being tied in. There was actually stuff in the works. I think that's died out when George Gandolfini passed away. That pretty much ended. But even with that being said, he never gave it a solid ending. I'm worried that Game of Thrones is going to do the same thing with this series, where we have who's going to be in the who's going to sit in this ridiculously looking chair, and turns out no one, but everybody's going to die in the end. What the showrunners know, what the showrunners know is basically where things are supposed to end up in the books. It's just how the books and the show get there are going to be different. And the books at least will have a bittersweet ending, and I'm hoping that happens with the show. And with the crappy ass writing of season 7, I'm worried that season 8 writing will be bad, which might mean some of the big prophecies will just be lame, like the Azor Ahai prophecy. I don't want Azor Ahai to be Jon. I don't want
Daenerys to be his Nisa Nisa, and I don't want Long Claw to be Lightbringer because that's so predictable because that's what everyone's saying. I want like the prophecies to actually surprise me, and with the craptastic writing of season 7, I'm really fearing that for season 8 they're just going to go with the we're doing this because this is easy to do and it's predictable, and
Well,
fans will love it.
not many people disappointed. I tell you that. So it's not like too many people was just feeling it. It's not like last season. Last season where it left you, wanting more because
Yeah.
of the last few episodes they did. It was fantastically done,
Like,
well written. Want, and I'm not getting that from even the diets of hardcore Game of Thrones fans. I'm talking about people who read the books and even saw the show, and it's like, Hollywood, you have a
what the
tendency of
fuck?
doing this,
Don't do
manufacturing
it!
episodes.
Don't do it!
Hey, you better understand this. It's not too late. You have a whole year to actually fix this.
Yeah,
Do it
it's
right.
like
I don't know. Was there any more episodes after that?
the only reason I want to continue watching is I just
You're gonna continue
always
watching it. Don't worry.
I'm always going to watch it just because I can't really usually stop watching a TV series, which is really bad for my sanity. But the last shot I liked just because it showed Viserion burning down the wall and the army of the Den. And I had this thought, I hope Jorah lives, but I'm just at the point where I'm like, I don't care if the Night King fucking kills everyone. That could be the happy ending. Put all these characters out of their misery. Don't let them suffer.
Well, like I said, it doesn't feel like nobody's gonna win this. I don't know what Jane or Martin had in store. I don't even know why his writers haven't been matured yet. It's not. Those are irrelevant to me. But you gotta do it right. If you're not gonna do it right, it's gonna be some huge problems here.
Yeah, the thing with the Jon and Daenerys relationship is people will defend going, oh, this was planned from the beginning, so that's why it has to be in here. Even though it was forced, it was just if you shove down your throat instead of
this was Hollywood
organically. It's because
this was Hollywood stretching the suit.
No, because people will defend it, saying that see there was okay. Oh, God. Okay, I'm actually going to have a long ranting blog post, and so
no.
The thing is, people will defend it, going that the title of the book series, Fire and Ice, it means that it's all about Jon and Daenerys banging, and we'll say, "Oh, you see in this interview, this one producer or writer, whatever the hell for the show, saying that they converge." And so my thing is that if you plan something from the beginning, you have to change it as situations change, or else you'll get a horrific How I Met Your Mother finale, where they kept the original ending, but the original ending didn't work because the show lasted longer, so the finale ended up just ruining the show.
Well, here's the thing. Okay. One, I think not many fans are back, because I'm telling you right now that not many fans are actually thrilled with this show. So there's very, very few. Number two,
the Jon and Daenerys shipping fandom shippers are a very large portion, and yeah. So my dear friends have it labeled as their OTP, and I'm just I love you, friends. I love you. I will defend you to death, but just.
we got plenty of time to talk about that, because I know your blog is probably filled with disappointment with this show.
Basically, usually for my reviews, I'll just have a singular post. I broke it down into 3 parts because I needed that much time.
All right. So, in that perspective, thinking about disappointment, this has been probably the most disappointing. I'm actually writing a blog on it, so I'm not going to give too much of my feelings on it. But I will say right now, I can safely say that the summer blockbusters, the age of the summer blockbusters is finally slowly dwindling to the point where I don't even think it's relevant anymore. There has been a lot of movies that came out, a lot of movies that wow people, a lot of people want to see it. But let's be realistic. A lot of these movies didn't even come out in the summertime. A lot of these films came out in March. probably early as February. And the films we got, especially this last month of August, has been mediocre to bad to just basically under the radar. I'm gonna go more into detail in my Express Stuff blog and Matic Expression, but here's the thing: were you excited to see Kidnap? You don't even know what that is, ain't you?
No, it was goddamn it. Was that with Halle Berry or was that?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit.
you were you pumped up to see Chips?
Oh, my Rev Resner was pumped up to see that, and he saw it with one of his friends, and they enjoyed it. I just don't really do comedies that much. It's really hard for
It
me
was
to
the
get
worst
into
comedy
comedy.
reviewed in the film. It bombed hard in the box office. So he's one of the very few that actually found joy in that movie. I don't know if you've seen Baywatch.
I haven't seen Baywatch. No.
Good, you neither anybody else. Another bomb. Um, we're on a roll right here. Logan Lucky, which actually gotten pretty decent reviews, didn't do well in the box office either.
Yeah, Brian Brevs really wants to see that. He's like, Aaron, look, Josh, look at these trailers. I'm like, okay, you can tag me in them, but I'm not going to view it because I don't.
And we're gonna get to that in a minute because let me just put this up. We can box office because the box office have not officially ended yet because we have a 4-day weekend, and that's why they're not putting anything out yet. But this has been the trend like this for the last few years, and now it's gotten to the point where your movie theater and my movie theater may have to raise ticket prices on AAA movies because one, the summer box office was a huge disappointment. It's already been going down as Labor Day's worst opening because one, they didn't have to release any new movies, and because of that, Hitman Bodyguard remained in first place, being a mega hit. It's a hit, but not a mega hit. Like meaning it never broke the 100 million to 200 million dollar mark, but it's still a mega hit. It's still a hit in that way. This has been a very disappointing film structure, and I want to hear your own opinion on it. But let's be realistic here. The reason why we're seeing this is really more on the fact that I'm gonna get this. It's really the fact that Hollywood hasn't been cramming their mega movies, the movies you expect to be released in the summertime. Logan was not a summer movie. You would think it would be, but it's not a summer movie. Guardian Galaxy just became in that borderline of summer movies. The summer movie that actually was released in the summertime was The Mummy, Dark Towers,
The Dark Tower.
Spider-Man.
Singular. Singular. There's only one Dark Tower.
There will be no sequel, so I'm letting you know right now. So don't give your don't be hopeful.
I'll give my opinion on the Dark Tower movie if you want that later.
But here's a little gist of how the films did well. Okay, Hitman's Bodyguard only had a budget of $30 million. It made $55 million, so it is a hit. I forgot this movie came out. Annabelle Creations. Have you seen that movie?
I have not seen the original Annabelle, and I haven't seen the sequel. And but I've heard from people who have seen both that Creation was the better film of the two Annabelle films.
Well, actually, it did pretty well. Made $89 million. I'm kind of shocked. Wild River, that came out leap. Logan Lucky only cost $29 million to make it, only $21 million, and this film is out for 5 weeks. You have Dunkirk. I can't pronounce Christopher Nolan's movie because I know it's based on a true event.
Dirks with goddamn it, I could pronounce.
You can't pronounce it.
No, I just can't see the spelling in my head right now, so that's the only Dunkirk.
All right. We have a film that I'm surprised even made. I have a sequel. I didn't know it did this good. The Nut Job, Part 2.
Okay, I saw the trailers on TV. And that seemed to be the best part of the movie, so I, didn't figure that I'd bother to see it.
You got Girl Trip. You got the Amangi movie, an animated film.
A what?
Amangi, Moemogi.
I
never heard of the Amanga movie.
We're
You
probably
probably
going to
know.
be offending some people by mispronouncing it.
Listen. I'm just gonna give you the whole box office thing because it's probably better that you see what I'm talking about than me just pronouncing it. Look on your comment section over there because you'll be surprised. There it is. Boom.
Hmm.
You look at it and you know what I'm talking about. I'm not doing the top five because frankly it's not. I'm not doing the top five because
Oh, I
frankly
haven't
if
seen
you want,
Spider-Man yet. Shit.
I'm surprised.
Oh,
But
the
the top five.
emoji movie. The emoji movie.
I'm glad you corrected this.
Yeah,
Ironically,
it's funny that, it got made. And that Patrick Stewart took the role as a shit just because he found that funny.
Mhm. Well, here's the thing: you have Cars 3 that made 150 million. Birth of the Dragon, which is actually not well received by critics. It's a Bruce Lee type film based on Bruce Lee early days. I've seen the trailer, and I'll get to that trailer again. You got Kidnap, which didn't even break no records. It made 29 million. You got The Dark Towers, which is a colossal failure. I am stunned how bad this film has done. 47 million out of a $60 million budget. It makes me worry about it that's coming out next week. At least in some areas. I don't know if it's coming out where you at, but I do know I'm concerned now for Stephen King's remakes.
Well, I think with the
you,
It thing is I think they're going to be breaking the It movie into two parts, with the first part being them as kids, and then the second as them as adults. And I think for a movie viewing audience, that would be easier to follow than in the book where they jump around from time to time.
well, here's a big shocker here, and I did not even see anything on this. No posters, no nothing. Did you see anything about the Inhumans,
Yeah.
part of the Marvel Universe?
Hmm.
Any television commercials, anything?
Fuck, I don't really watch that much TV, but I know that it was advertised that there was going to be a theater viewing for, I think, like the first episode. It's a TV series, and they're releasing one in theaters.
So there is one in theaters. It's on an
Yeah.
IMAX experience. 393 theaters. That's your Inhumans, guys. Didn't really do. Is in 18th place. Why was this released in theaters if they're making a TV series that was instead?
The thing is that sometimes, they do release TV episodes in theaters.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Like
well,
they've done that with, I think, a few Doctor Who episodes. I know. I don't know if they might have done it
just
with
make it a
other
Doctor Who
series too.
movie. That's it. Why waste my time?
I don't
That's why I can't find it in
know.
theaters. In any case, there has been for every film that actually been hit, most of them have either underperformed or just didn't perform well at all. The Mummy, Dark Towers, Chips, Baywatch is one of many films that just basically either underperform or just outright bomb in the box office. And this has left a lot of people scratching their heads what's going on. It is considered to be this year's worst box office performance in summertime in over 8 years. We didn't have this bad of a box office even in 3 years ago, where they had oversaturated the whole market with sequels that underperformed, like Jason Bourne, Star Trek Beyond, and some of them were actually good sequels. It just there was too many of them. Here is just there's no sex appeal, like, and one of the main reasons is one, there's not much promotion. Two, too much trailers, and these trailers ain't good. I was not pumped up to see Kidnap. I was not pumped up to see the Dwayne Johnson's movie Baywatch. And be honest, why should I? It was not a great. It was okay, this TV show, but it wasn't something to write home to mom about. I mean, it really wasn't. And it lost me when they made Baywatch Nights, when they went from beat to supernatural. Don't yeah, but I'll let Escuris Lupa explain that one. um, but it's been a very bad year, and a lot of this has to do with the fact is that a lot of films, ironically, a lot of films that we look at as blockbusters are not being put on the summertime. Wonder Woman was a summer film. That's granted. Um, Guardians of the Galaxy, granted. But there's a whole lot of film that you think they were done well, either didn't do well or just basically outright wasn't promoted properly. There's also concern that the reason why they're doing this is because, again, direct competition. The DCU is in trouble. All right, Wonder Woman saved it, gave you some hope. I will say that, but they're in trouble. And the one question that everybody has in mind, because I don't know if you know or you should know, Joss Whedon had to finish directing Justice League, and he is slated to do Justice League 2. The question is, have he gone faith back to DCU or not? We have the James Bond franchise, which never was a summer film to begin with. I'm being fair, pushed back because of their not so good reaction with Spectre. It's now 2019. Good news is Daniel Craig is coming back. Bad news is we gotta wait till 2019 to see it. So, but in
Wait,
all,
Daniel Craig is coming back to James Bond?
Yeah, he's been confirmed. Yeah, he's coming back. But he's not gonna do as many stunts as he has done with the other movies, and I can't really blame him. He's gonna be like 50 when he comes back, so he doesn't need to kill himself for entertainment. That's what the stuntmen are paid for, and it gives a chance for the producers and the writers to bring a fresh perspective to Bond. Which, let's be honest, I think they tried and failed twice with Daniel Craig to bring that goofiness back to the Bond franchise. It's just not going to work. You gave us a new Bond to stick with that new format. That's what people want to see, not something that Connery and Roger Moore have done. It's good for those guys because they was the one who crafted it. This is a different Bond. Give him that range that you gave other Bonds in the past. But in any case, what's your feeling about the summer this year's summer Bond? Because I can tell you right now, you did not care. I can tell you, you did not care for months about August. August was not your I can't wait to see a movie day.
Yeah, like the majority of summer, I guess I was not really caring that much.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Like, did you see Valkyrian?
I actually would have liked to see that, but oh god, that came out in the summer. I would have liked to see that, but that was one of numerous cases of I just couldn't get to the theater.
Mm-hmm. Were you pumped up to see Detroit? I didn't even know that was a movie. I thought that was a freaking documentary about what happened in Detroit. Totally dropped the ball on that.
I don't really do biopics. Not saying that the whole incidents, aren't important, but that I just don't really do biopics that much.
And look at the price they had.
Not biopics or, anything where you're going back and trying to recreate in movie form something that happened. Just don't really do those that much.
And that's the whole point. I mean, it's all about the Dark Towers hurt themselves. Oh. Let's be realistic. That trailer hurt that film.
Oh my god.
That trailer hurt that film. That film didn't get good word of mouth, but that trailer really kept people away.
Oh god, that trailer! One of the trailers. Yeah, it was so generic, and I already had bad feelings before. And then that trailer was like, the only reason I'm seeing this film is because I'm a King fan, or else I would have just nope. Don't need this.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Dark Tower movie was a really long story short, because I might have explained it on one of these podcast episodes, and I know I've explained it in other places. It's, long story short, a sequel to the Dark Tower books. So what pissed me off first hearing about Dark Tower movie was that it was going to be a sequel. And it's like, why the fuck are... I mean, the Dark Tower universe would allow for that to happen. But it just seems so lazy. Yeah, we want to make a Dark Tower movie. So but we don't want... We want to have an excuse for not doing things exactly, so we're just going to slap a sequel label.
Without naming it a sequel.
And then Stephen King, on social media, was supporting it. So, and there were people saying that he was the one to choose out this version. And so some King fans, when other King fans were like, well, we think this is a very stupid idea, would go, well, King said. It's like that
Keep
doesn't
in
make it
mind,
stop from being less
here's the thing.
shitty.
No disrespect to Stephen King. He's a great horror writer. He knows how to keep me interested in books, even though certain books aren't really meant to be hard driven, but they are page turner. His record in terms of movie suggestion and producing is horrible. The only film I actually enjoyed that was made for TV is actually the one that's coming out, and that's it. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I really do. I want to see it in movie form.
It's really funny when I'm like, Revs, I want to see it. Like I'm slowly reading it, but I'm going between that and Pokemon, so reading can get really slow at times. And so Revs is like, Josh, aren't you afraid of clowns? Don't you have like a phobia of clowns? And like, yeah, but it's Stephen King, and when I experience horror, as long as it's fictional, I like. When I watch horror, I like to be scared, and an easy way to scare me is to go through one of my phobias, and sometimes I'm into it, and it's Stephen King, and trying to explain that to Revs, he just looks at me odd. He's just like, God, my crazy wife.
You haven't read your fanfic yet, so I'm not surprised. The thing about it is that if anybody wants to say, well, King says, well, here's the thing is, King ruined his own creation with The Shining. He did not like the way the late Stanley Kubrick made The Shining. I've seen both versions of it. I think Stanley Kubrick was far superior than his movie because, one, he understands that just talking about certain stuff, it's not going to cut it. Detailing, visual, stylistic, knowing when to change things up for the better sake of the audiences is still far more important than just you trying to make a film where all you see in the actors is talking about stuff that they should be doing. King has a terrible record with this. All right, when he has full control or pretty much 90% control of a film, you better believe it's not going to get the same way. Secondly, let's be realistic. You don't have to read the It when you see it. There are lots of books he does not know how to end his story. He just don't know how to end it. You'd be thinking this great climax and everything else, and next thing you know, it's like that's it. That's the big climax here.
There's been very few Stephen King book endings that have disappointed me. There's been like one or two out there that I can think of.
I wasn't talking about the books.
Okay.
The movies.
Okay,
Tommyknockers.
Usually, I've read the book. Tommyknockers, haven't seen the movie.
Oh, you find it hilarious.
Okay, what happens in the movie version of the end?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh God, please.
I will say about The Shining, even though I was disappointed about it, I will say one positive thing about what Stephen King did. He's made one of the antagonists more human. None disrespect to Jack Nicholson, though.
Yeah,
I think Jack Nicholson was like he was crazy even before the crazy stuff happened.
Exactly. And in the books, in the book, there was a slow degradation. Like you actually really pitied the father. And in the movie version, you have crazy Jack Nicholson. So I could understand Brad King being pissed off about that. It's like, I spent all this time on this one thing that showed me dealing with my alcoholism, and then like, Jack Nicholson is a great actor. He did a good job with what he was given. But, if you were to compare the book and the movie.
Yeah, you can't really say that when you look at Jack. When I saw the movie with that one, and I'm like, Jesus, man, Jack don't even look like he's stable to be having a family right now. Why is he?
But I think the worst part of The Shining that actually gets to me every single fucking time is in the books. Inmates, the black guy comes and saves the mother and child. And so, the scenes with him make sense of you following the subplot. In the movie, Kubrick's version, you follow the black guy subplot, and like for a while, like, and so, but the black guy comes in and immediately he's killed, and it's like, why don't you waste time on that? You could just end his storyline when he leaves the hotel, because this was like, we gotta kill a black guy. This is a horror movie. We gotta kill a black guy.
I'm not even surprised.
But it was like so horrible because there was like all the, like, I hadn't read the book before. I saw the movie and it's like,
he lived in the remake. Just know that he lived in the remake. All right. Just know he lived in the remake. That's all you gotta know.
That actually makes me sort of want to see the remake now. Just
he lived in the remake. All right, but that was the whole thing. That was my whole problem. So anybody want to say that Stephen King, look, there are great things he can do. Movie writing, it's not one of them. Unless you count Creepshow, which is awesome.
I haven't seen Creepshow.
You got to see it.
I know.
It's a classic horror.
I know it's a classic horror. And that's why...
That was the one time I was the one time I was actually scared of Lee Nielsen. The man who was the comedic genius behind the naked gun. I was scared of him in that movie because he was crazy. Crazy. Nancy Nielsen, it was crazy in that film. I'm almost called by your favorite man crush.
Yeah, you did say Liam Neeson, and I'm like, from Naked Gun, and like, well, that's oh, he means someone else. He fucking said the wrong name. I wonder if he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I know. I figured that was real quick. Nancy Nielsen, gentlemen, with great legend. Man, I call him the king of spoof, even though he hasn't really made in his last few films, which was Scary Movie 3 and 4. I don't consider that his best work. But
I don't think anyone considers it any best work.
In any case, this year has been a bad year for films. However, I will say this though, the fall-winter lineup looks interesting, except for a few movies that I do not want to see. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not seeing Jumanji.
Why not?
Welcome to the jungle. First of all, the concept was a board game. Now you turn to a video game.
Yeah, I can understand about the updating it. I can understand that part. I mean,
a board game any day.
But I can understand why they changed that. I mean, if you take the original book, like the original book really has nothing at all to do with the first movie.
I understand that, but the first movie, it still holds a special place in my heart. I actually wanted to see what happened with that board game, because that board that right there, like, oh, they set it for a sequel. It never happened. I don't know if this movie bombed or not. It couldn't have bombed. They made a remake. I just think that they just had to do it because Robin Williams passed away. I'm not looking forward to Jigsaw, which is Saw 7.
I
didn't see the trailer yet, though. I know the trailer's out.
I've seen the trailer. With Saw, I've seen like the first, I think, 2, maybe 3 at tops. And I sort of do want to see the rest of the sequels. Like, if I find a collection of all the Saw movies, I'll watch them, because I hate myself. But it's just, I'm interested mostly on seeing the fans' reaction and, what's going on this time.
I don't know. It's been so long. Why can't they just let this franchise in peace? They should have stopped it with 2. And it could keep going.
With Final Destination, at least they stopped after, I think, 5 movies, when they could have stopped after 2, because the 2 first Final Destination movies had actually explored the concepts and actually moved plots forward. The 3rd movie was decent. The 4th movie was lulls. The 5th movie sort of saved everything. But,
here's the thing. 5th might know it was a prequel until you actually saw the ending. That was the whole best twist about the whole thing.
Yeah,
they even make an announcement of it.
Exactly. That's one thing I liked about the movie. I knew it was a prequel long before watching it, but I did like that they had that sort of setup, because it at least showed a little subtlety of the first movie in it, so I liked it for that reason.
Well,
And I know saying
like I said,
subtlety in a Final Destination movie, and everyone who doesn't like the series will probably be laughing their ass off. So hi.
there's a couple of animated films. One film about a bull. I can't get the name of it. I know it's probably. I think it's Disney. I'm not too sure about it. I don't know what it is. I don't have a feel for the Kingsman. Everybody said the Kingsman is a good film you got to watch.
Yeah, Kingsman is. I liked it, and I was
Well,
interested to see what a sequel would be like. But I'm also prepared
it
for the
looks like
fact that the
same thing.
sequels don't always tend to be as good as the first movie. So I'm preparing for a slight drop in quality, but I'm still looking for a very good time.
From what I saw in this trailer, it looks like the same. Because Channing Tatum, I actually want to see anything, I want to see how Channing Tatum perform. Because the more I see his movies, the more I'm actually going to respect his craft. Because he's actually is one of the actors, the young actors, that's gotten better for each film he has done. I actually think he has a potential, if given the right script, to give an Academy Award performance. That's how good I think he is becoming. Halle Berry, I don't know what she's going to do, but it seemed, from what I understand, is that the old headquarters were destroyed, so they got to team up with the American counterpart to fight this great evil. It sounds like the same film.
Circle of it's fighting a big bad organization that's trying to take over the world.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing now. You're just having American agents along with them. Basically, what it is.
Yeah, but I know the setup seems a little lame, but it's really what they can do with the concept and play around with it that will make it a good or bad movie. Because some movies can have a very simple sounding concept, and then they play with it, and it's awesome. I mean, The Shining, haunted hotel. Father goes crazy and tries to kill his family, but it's still considered one of the classic movies.
Well, we got another one. I'm glad you talk about horror. We got Mother.
Oh yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't even know what that is.
It seems.
I honestly don't know what it is. Harvey F. is in it, so I want to see it based on those two star powers.
With the 2 trailers I've seen, I think 2 or 3 trailers.
Jesus.
Like the difference between one of the trailers was like a few seconds of clips, minor changes. So it's really just 2 trailers. One was basically just a teaser. The second one, it seems like Jennifer Lawrence and her husband are visited by this guy, and he ends up bringing his wife in, and I guess craziness ensues, and that's really all I know.
Then we have the Snowman.
Woo! What the fuck's that about? Because all I'm hearing now is the Frozen song. Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman.
Look, it's about a killer leaving snowmans for the cops. That's
what?
all I got from it.
What?
That's all I got from it. That's all I got.
Say that again, please.
There's a killer killing people, and he leaves snowmen as a clue. That's all I know. I know. I can't.
I'm out.
Look, I don't know.
I'm out.
Look, it may surprise you. It ain't my Shyamalan movie, but again, we don't know what it is.
Surprise me on that is a tiny bit less scrappy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that reaction, people.
All right, so we have that coming out. We got the Justice League, which brings me to my question before I continue on. Look, before I start, again, what happened to why is his name escaping me? I don't even know why.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. What happened to his daughter was very tragic. That's very, very sad. Keep in mind, I didn't feel he did a great job with the DCU, but that's no reason to celebrate the reason why. Yeah, that's totally unacceptable. A lot of people was actually happy. I said, "There's nothing you shouldn't be happy." He lost a loved one with flesh and blood, and that's the only reason why he left. Now, maybe DC was going to go. DC and Warner Brothers was going to go a different direction. who knows? But the reason why he left is because of that reason, and I hope my hearts and prayers go to him and to his family. That was, regardless of what you may have felt, what he had done with the DCU, um, you never want to wish that on anybody. I wouldn't wish that on even on my worst enemies. And illness like that, suicide like that, should be always be taken seriously. And the fact is that I think people should keep that in mind. That what happened was very, very tragic. And before you go on hating the guy or cheering because he's no longer part of the DC universe, at least for now, it doesn't mean he was completely taken off. But he has personal issues that he has to care first. Shouldn't be jumping for joy. Keep that in mind that when it's happened, and keep that in mind that no one, you wouldn't want anyone to go through what he's probably going through right now. With that being said, Josh Whedon had taken over for the Justice League, and everybody's jumping up and down saying yes, he's going to save the franchise, he's going to save the Justice League, especially after they had not one, not two, but three disastrous films that came out. Many people did not like Man of Steel. Many people disliked, and I like myself. The more I actually talk about it, the more I actually see it, the more I actually want to hate that film.
Rev Reznor actually got me to watch the extended cut of Suicide Squad.
And there's my problem with this.
And the thing is, like the theatrical version of Suicide Squad was, just why the fuck did I waste my money? But the extended cut didn't make the movie great, but it actually made it better than the theatrical version and understandable. And I've heard that from people who have seen all the DCU films that's a problem they have. That why the fuck not release the extended cut in theaters?
And there's my problem, and this is why I did not give any slack to the Man of Steel. I'm sorry, this Batman vs Superman, because when I watched that film, the moment I heard them promoting the rated R version for DVD, I said, there's a problem there. Because this movie hasn't even came out in theaters yet, and you're already promoting something that you shouldn't have no business promoting. I get really upset by that. When I saw the film, I felt a lot of stuff was missing. It was complete, utter disappointment. And when I saw the extended version, I'm like, why was this not in the theaters? And by the way, you just wasted my time. And by the way, no, I'm not giving it an extra rating because this should have been in the movie theaters, and it doesn't help matter that you put it out there. No, you're not going to get a free pass, and it became a lot of people's worst list because of that. Stop doing this. Stop promoting something you shouldn't have no business promoting. Give me the film I want to give. If you got extra features like deleted scenes or some special features that can only be on DVD,
commentaries,
put it on DVD. But don't do it in the expense of quality. I mean, they're doing this too many times now. Thank goodness, Wonder Woman was not strike three for me. Wonder Woman gave me some good hope, but keep in mind, Zack Snyder didn't direct the film. It was a director. This is something I think that Warner Brothers and this is DCU in general needs to start doing. Have different directors, have different creative minds. You want to make it darker, fine, but you gotta show creativity. If anything, if Suicide Squad shows anything is that it doesn't matter what kind of what star power you have or what kind of villains you have or heroes you have. If there's no grit or no investment from the audience, it will fail badly. And Justice League here, there's been too many stories coming out of there saying reshoots, change the directors. We don't know what was kept from Zack Snyder. We don't even know what was kept for what was reshot. But it worries me tremendously to the point where. And here's another thing, and then I don't care what anybody says here. Having a Justice League without having Superman alone is a problem. All right, I understand making Man of Steel 2, but you don't have the one guy who basically helped found the Justice League in the first place. At least in the second incarnation. I understand that there was in the comic books there was a little thing, but that's not the point. The point is Superman has become a staple of the Justice League. You don't have him there.
I'm just feeding off your fanboy rage right now. It's feeding me.
No, it's not fanboy rage. It's just the problem is that I've seen the trailer. I'm actually happy they've actually made Aquaman a force to be reckoned with. I'm getting tired of people comparing Aquaman to that Super Friends show that they had. Oh God, I hate that show with a passion. But that's aside the point. I am worried about it. I feel that a lot of people feel that this is DC Detective Comics' last stand, which is kind of sad because Wonder Woman was a great film, and I do want to see them go further with that character because if you, like I said, if you write these characters right, you can do a great film. But I felt just like a lot of the studios, and this is a whole lot of the reasons why we're seeing the decline in some of our consoles, is there's no originality anymore. These are all factory movies. I don't see a universe well planned. I see it rush. I see it's rushed to make a buck, and it's hurting the creativity and pretty much the quality of these movies. I am not interested in seeing the Justice League because I felt that there's too much problems from the director, which is now no fault of Zack Snyder, but from the director, from the way they keep reshooting it, from the directions they don't even know themselves what they want to take. It just feels like that Warner Brothers is just factory producing these movies without bringing any depth or quality into these movies. I said enough. It's your turn. Spread the love.
Yeah, that sounded like a lot of love. I don't care about the DCEU. The only DCEU film that I've seen in theaters is Suicide Squad, and then after seeing that crap on the theater, I was like, yeah, I just really can wait if I have to see things on DVD or Blu-ray or find things just playing on the channels. But Rev Reznor wanted to see Wonder Woman. He likes how the new Wonder Woman looks. He's very attracted to that woman. So he wanted to see that, but he wanted to see that, and I'd see it with him. But we never actually got to seeing it. So
because you don't want to see it, that's why.
No, I was actually planning things around, I was looking times up for him. He sees movies with me he doesn't really want to see, Green Lantern, but he will still rant at me for, and I have to shut him up. Tell him choose a new movie to rant about. And then I'll see movies I might not necessarily want to see, and sometimes we'll enjoy the movies that we didn't think we were originally really going to enjoy. I mean, Wonder Woman the trailers looked good, but I was like, well, the DCU has had trailers that looked good, movies that sucked, but when good reviews started to pour in from everyone, I'm like, holy shit, I think they might have done it this time. Maybe I should check it out.
Well, we now have this trend going on, and I think this trend is going to slowly die off, especially after the beautifully failed attempt at The Mummy. I'm actually kind of happy that it failed because I didn't think it should have been their first attempt.
I wanted to see it, actually, just to see, not because I thought it would be good, but I'm like, what's going on? I want to see. I watch Sharknado movies, and the latest movie came out this summer. So does that count as a summer movie, even though it didn't go in theaters?
What?
Sharknado, the latest Sharknado movie.
If you want to count it. I mean, if it's on, how you like it, by the way?
Oh, it was.
No comment. That's good.
It was fucking great. One of the favorite parts had to be where the main male lead, starts to question everything. It's like he's breaking the fourth wall. The character's trying to break out. This makes no sense. Now the tornadoes can teleport us, and then the other characters basically speaking for the audience, why are you starting to question things now? Because it's been 5 movies in, and it makes no sense.
Movies? Really? 5 movies?
I think I definitely know 3. I think 4 or 5.
I shouldn't be that surprised because Angry Joe just finished a review of Stormtroopers 5 that came out in theaters, even though 2, 3, and 4 came directly to video. I don't know why 5 was in theaters.
Because
I know they're rebooting it. I know they actually have plans to relaunch it, but why bring this movie out? That's like it's just like what they did with Universal Soldiers. They came out with one, then 2 and 3 came out on video on straight to video, and then they came out with 4, which is actually 2 now. It's like what happened to these 2? We're just gonna ignore these 2 and just focus on this movie. But that's the 3rd one. Why is he returning? Never mind. Sometimes Hollywood don't make no sense to me anymore.
Okay, I'm sort of glad that I didn't like that first Trooper movie, just because the sequels just suddenly lacked in quality. So I'm glad I didn't board that train, or else I'd be really fucking pissed.
Video. What do you expect? They gotta put millions of dollars of money in a movie that's gonna be on
still,
the video.
A movie and you're like, oh, they're coming out with a sequel, and then it's crap. Oh,
that's like me expecting Chucky, the new Chucky movie, to come out this fall. It'd be good.
The Lion King.
No, the new Chucky.
The Lion King was a good movie, and its sequel was actually decent, even though it was straight to DVD. No, straight to VHS. Straight to VHS. I'm sorry, this was before the days of DVD.
That's why I said straight to video. I actually like the Simba's Pride. Yeah. But I did not like the 2.5. Whatever the hell they called that. Oh
God, fuck, that was a piece of bullshit. But you see, there's good direct-to-videos with a smaller budget, and then there's crappy direct-to-videos.
Just don't tell me about the Hunchback of Notre Dame 2. That's all.
Oh fuck, I've never seen that. I don't plan to.
The first film was actually dark as hell. I'm like, damn, I'm surprised they went this far with this movie because
the original book was not. Was basically saying I jerk off to the ideas of this woman, and has a whole song about it, how he wants to fuck her and feels bad about wanting to fuck her in a kids movie.
I just know it was like, why out of all the Disney movies you have done, I mean, Disney had done changed a lot of dark elements as far as the fairy tales, because we both know that fairy tales are not as happy ending as it is. But
oh God, I remember the first time I saw like the true tales of like the Disney movies. I'm just like, fuck did I just read?
I got the Little Mermaid book. It's in 100 different stories that I got. I've read the story. I'm like, yeah, Disney called it right. I mean, they did a good job. I mean, you can't knock it, but Hunchback is not for kids.
Oh, good. I haven't read the book. One of my cousins gave me it when I showed a little bit of interest. I never picked it up like I was going to, but I never did, and so I returned it to her. But yeah, I've heard. I have not read the book, but I have heard, and yeah.
There ain't no happy ending, and there ain't no sequel.
God, everyone fucking dies.
So just keep that in mind. There ain't no sequel in that book. I mean, it is a dark movie. I'm like, that's why I'm like looking at Hunchback of Notre Dame. They made a movie, Disney. Did you realize what you adapted? That's not a happy ending movie. It's like really a risk. That's more. I was always debating what was more risky for them, Pocahontas or Hunchback. Because I've seen Pocahontas, and I don't consider Pocahontas to be a bad film. Just a film that really tests the waters, because Pocahontas is not a fairy tale. It's not a folklore. It is
based on bullshit said by John Smith.
Not even, but she did exist.
I know she exists, but the story we follow in Pocahontas is based on bullshit spouted by John Smith of shit that could not have happened. So yeah, Pocahontas was real. I'm not debating that. I'm just saying that the movie is based on bullshit.
That's the whole thing. If you take this movie, because I don't forget this. When I was watching Cisco and Ebert's review on it, they gave it a good review. But some reason, as they was reviewing it, they stopped reviewing it and started comparing the film from other films. Because at the time, you had Little Mermaid came out, The Rescuers that came out. You had, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King. And here you had this one film, and it's like, they don't seem too happy giving this a 2 thumbs up. I'm kind of curious as to why. And I seen the movie, and I said, "Oh, it's a good film. It ain't nothing like Beauty and the Beast. I think Beauty and the Beast is a masterpiece." But then I realized something. I said, "Isn't Pocahontas based on a real fairy character?" And I looked it up and said, "Yeah, this is why. You can't really do that fairy tale element with real life characters. She was a princess, but she was a real princess, and you
And she
can't."
was like 12 or 13 or something. She was definitely not as old as in the movie version.
And she wasn't a light skinned model either. So I can see where they was not comfortable. It was like it was close to Song of the South. Uncomfortable. That's how it was. Because here's the thing, though. You notice they don't acknowledge her as a princess in any of the Disney's princess lineup.
Doesn't surprise me.
You see, you
Sadly,
see
doesn't
Cinderella.
surprise me.
You see Alice in Wonderland, and she was never a princess in the.
Wait, what
in-
the fuck? Alice is... Oh, God.
yeah, she's in the princess lineup, and she's not even a princess.
What the fuck?
What that tells you? I was like, well, you. And you have a real princess, and she's not even acknowledging it. That's how uncomfortable they don't want to acknowledge that. Hey, look at the whole lineup. You have the girl Mulan, you have Ariel, you have Cinderella, of course, you have Snow White,
Wait, Mulan was
you have
actually
Jasmine.
I believe the movie Mulan is based on some legends or something of an actual person named Mulan. I can't remember how much of it was. The movie was based on, true stories or, things that were fabricated.
Mulan looked like she was Asian. Not Pocahontas. She didn't look like she was Indian. Let's keep that real. He's like, well, it's a whole lot of things. Even though I didn't think Eddie Murphy being a dragon, but that's a story altogether.
Well, that was Grace, little dragon.
Yeah, but like I said,
And the
that was
cricket.
the whole thing.
And the cricket.
I don't even remember the cricket. Mulan is not my favorite movie, though. It's good, but it's not something I go back to. I'll go back to Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, the animation one, not the live one. I'll go back to them more so than I go back to Mulan. Or there are 5 films that I can care less about from the Disney line at the time. Mulan is the least. It's in the middle. I like it, but it's not something I'll go back to every day. I thought the sequel was horrible.
Oh God, there was a sequel. Oh God, yeah, there was.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. It ended on such a high note.
I will never see any of the Beauty and the Beast sequels.
I
Ever.
have seen all of them. You're not missing anything at all, except the second one with the Christmas is enjoyable. It's not good. It's enjoyable.
Little Mermaid 2, I don't care less about.
God damn, I've never seen that. I haven't seen any of the Little Mermaid sequels.
3 Aladdin movies.
I've seen all the sequels to them.
Disappointed with Return to Jafar.
Oh God, that was fucking just...
Love the King of Thieves, though. I thought the King of Thieves was a much better sequel than I thought that I actually thought it would be. Because it didn't focus on Genie, but it focused on Aladdin and his father, which it should have been. A lot of people said it could have been better in terms of dynamics, but I felt that this film was perfect. The pacing was fine. It felt like it should have been in theaters.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it wasn't. Now that I think, I haven't seen it in such a long time, but yeah, I can see why you would think it should be in theaters. I mean,
and there's a reason. It's actually, if you look at Disney, I'm actually going to talk about the Movie Fan to see how true, because Cisco and Eva brought this up, and I actually looked it up. I will ask Movie Fan about this. The reason why they didn't do it in theaters is because there's a clause in the contract that said no sequels are going to be printed in theaters. That was a written clause that they have a rule that all the films they come out that sequel based will be direct to video, which is kind of weird because they actually on record had 2 sequels that made theaters. The Rescuers Down Under was one of them.
Oh, that was a good one.
I actually really adore that. I liked it better than the first one. And the ill-fated, I don't know what they were smoking, Return to Neverland.
They're probably smoking something. I've never seen that movie, but I'm assuming
You
there's
know,
a lot
I'm,
of drugs going around the Disney studios.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I hated Peter Pan. The movie was good. I just hate that character. I thought he was not even a hero. Although Captain Hook should have got rid of him. I watched because I want to see Captain win. Like, let's get this rid of this kid. This kid is annoying. That's why I was kind of happy that Pan failed at box. So that was a horrible movie. But I don't know who thought it was a good idea to make a movie of his origin story. And from rumors I heard, are you happy there's gonna be another Pokemon movie,
Pokemon movie? I don't keep
a
up.
live action film?
I don't really keep up with the Pokemon, thing
You're wearing a
except
hat.
with games.
You're wearing the hat.
The thing
play Pokemon Go.
I said Pokemon movies or TV shows I don't really keep up with, but I keep up with the games.
Okay.
I just don't really give a shit
there's too
about
many games
anything
coming out, so.
else. Yeah, I know
Well,
I'm wearing an Eevee hat, but I just don't really care about the movies. I mean, the first anime movie, that was awesome, and I think I followed for 2 or 3 of the movies after that. And then after that, I was just like, okay. Of course, back then when I was a kid, I didn't have my own handheld, so I couldn't really play the games.
Oh, well.
I had to fight for every second I did of Pokemon. So I'm not bitter about that.
Oh well.
Shut up.
Well, it's 3:49. We're about halfway complete with our show. It is extremely. For some reason, they put the one day to be hot in this Starbucks restaurant. But what can you expect? I will say this. Next, when our next show comes in, we're gonna go back to basics. We're just basically. You heard me perfectly clear with this microphone, so that's a good thing. No interruptions.
Unfortunately.
That's a good thing.
Okay.
So we're back on track. Hopefully, Kat will be with us next week. I gotta keep in touch with her. I heard she hasn't done any podcasts with you in a while, so I don't know if you guys are on hiatus or not.
The thing is, I always plan it around, the breaks, the between seasons or mid seasons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When this show's on hiatus, and so I just didn't do that. And plus, I wanted to write my fic, so I'm very much like for the past year not really pushing away any podcasts if I don't have to.
Yes.
Yeah, and
now
I had some depression this weekend, so I only got 1 chapter out instead of 2, and these 2 chapters were 2 big game changers in the fic. So I'm like, really? This is the time it happens, right when it's really important for me to get these out?
Well, I'm glad you're still doing the writing. I am going to tell you this. I don't know for sure. I'm actually going to post it on Matic Expression, but I don't know for sure it's going to stay on Matic Expression for long. I may just keep it as a YouTube format. It really depends. I know they got the view counter back, which is actually a good thing because now it tells me that who's actually watching and who's not. So it all depends on the view count. I do have a number that I'm looking at, but it's still going to be a YouTube thing, a Mirrorstein Publishing original. But I'm actually going to go even further with that. I need you to email me.
Email you what?
No, I mean just to say email because I got a special thing for you, so you'll see it on the email.
Okay,
we'll talk about that later. But
okay.
We're going back to radio drama.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You don't even know what it's
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but okay.
Don't worry. I'll keep you posted on it. It's a J&J exclusive, so don't worry. You shouldn't worry, because you're gonna be doing most of the financial stuff.
I can't fucking do numbers. Numbers are alien to me.
Yes, you could.
No.
You have a Patreon account. That's good enough.
I have my Patreon account. Yeah, that's what I do, and that's not really hard. But numbers still are really foreign to me.
You know how to do spell check. That's the point.
Yeah, I can spell check.
So you'll see. You'll see it. You'll see it soon enough. Any case, Wes is off for now. We will be back as I think you'll be on your, little romantic rendezvous next week, right? Not this week.
Okay, I'll do.
Yeah,
I have a
check the little
calendar.
Kindle.
It's not Kindle, it's a phone.
I don't call those the
This
phones anymore.
this is a Kindle. Kindle?
So it's a miniature. That's not even a phone anymore. It's a mini tablet in your hand that has a phone as one of your features. That's basically what it is.
Okay, September 11th through the 24th, I'll be gone. So next week I'll be leaving.
So you'll be okay, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna
Oh,
be
so we
with
have a show next
Revs, so we don't know what's gonna happen. We might live, we might die. You might blow shit up.
Listen, if you're on Sunday, if you're with Ray, I'd still rather be on the show.
I'll
Take your PC with you. Tell him to be on the show. If it's 6 months, you need to be with the show. I need to see his face. We need to talk. I know he has a problem. I know he has a lot to say about President Trump.
Oh,
We got a lot to say about
fuck.
President
Oh,
Trump.
God. Yeah, God. It's great
So
when...
tell him. I try to leave a message on his phone, but I don't know if he still has his phone active or not. I'll try again. Tell him.
Okay, hang on.
We'll be together. It'll be a perfect setup.
Okay,
We'll do
so
it now.
what do you want me to tell the love of my life?
Are you going to be with him Sunday? That's one thing I got to know.
Oh, fucking gosh. Oh, I should fuck this. No, I won't be with him this Sunday.
So the following Sunday. If you're together, you got nothing to do, we'll do a show together on Sunday, and we'll do a show specifically just to rant and rave about. Well, I'm not gonna rant too much about Trump because there are some things he actually did well for once. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially
Do you
with
want
the
to
Dream
do
Attack.
a podcast? Oh, fuck. Podcast with Jock Gurley on a Sunday. We're together to rant about. Okay.
More of a friendly conversation.
Want to do a podcast with Jock Gurley on a Sunday. We're together to rant about. Okay, he's working today. Yeah, not working. He's busy today. I'm sorry. There's a difference there.
We're not doing it today. We're doing it on Sunday.
I'm just saying that it might take a few hours for him to respond to my text.
Okay.
So it won't be like in a minute or two. It'll probably be after 5.
Okay.
Or something when he's hanging out with friends that aren't me, and I probably will do stupid shit. So I worry. Because like sometimes he tells me a story and I'm just like, this is why I worry about leaving you alone.
We love couples or something else. And that's pretty much it, guys. We'll be back. Next on our original format. We're gonna talk about some stories, good stories, weird stories, all entertainment related. I might as well hit this on this. What's my feeling on Taylor Swift's big success on our 2 singles that she's coming out with? It's Taylor Swift. I don't need to say anything else.
I don't. I heard one of the singles that sounded nice. I don't really focus on her as a person, so I don't really care.
It's a very good hit. She's actually done very well. She's really Spotify has really been pretty much happy with the amount of hits they've been getting with her music. I'm good. I'm going to say this. I'm actually glad she did win her lawsuit against this clown who had no business doing what he did. I don't care what excuse he had. You still violated her personal space. And here's the thing. A lot of people say it's about the money. No, it wasn't. Because here's the thing. People got to remember. She didn't sue for millions of dollars. He didn't do it for the money because she only sued for $1. That's it. $1. It was more about pride. It was more about the respect that she didn't get. It was more about sending a message than anything else. This guy tried to sue her. She countersued and she won. And the bottom line is, I don't care what reporter you are, whether you're paparazzi or anything else. Respect someone's personal space, whether they're a star or not even a star. You don't do what that person did. It was a disgusting what he did. And yeah, he's lucky right now he's not in jail for what he did. So keep that in mind. I am actually happy that she did won that, and she's moving forward. She's she's making music, and the fans are are lining up for it. And that's basically what I want to say about that. But other than that, like I said, I'm not a big fan of our music work, but that's because it's a music just doesn't suit me. But doesn't mean that I'm actually a hater, especially with the Kanye West nonsense that was going on over the past years. It just means I'm not a big fan of her music, but she has been really been rising up, and she's definitely one thing that she proved me wrong right from the start is she's not a one-hit wonder. She has really stepped up and become pretty much a force to be reckoned with in the music business. Um, as for my opinion, old friend of mine, I know you asked me a couple of times about this. No, I'm not watching a new Police Academy reboot. Those days are over. Nothing against the guys. What's his name? Peel and some and
Key and Peele.
huh? What's the name of it?
Key and there was a Comedy Central Key and
Yeah,
Peele.
they're the ones in charge of the Police Academy series. Look, it's a reboot. If it does great, that's fine. I think these guys are talented enough. But the problem is with this is it died when Mahoney, Steve Gutenberg left. And two, in my honest opinion, you're never going to recapture what those stars have done. They all had sense of uniqueness to that role. And keep in mind, the Police Academy wasn't the best of franchises either. They were popcorn films that I would love to watch over and over again because they had that popcorn charm. They had some quick fun moments. But that's all there was to it. To me, they overstayed its welcome. I don't know what Key and Peele's going to do with the Police Academy series. A lot of people are already worried about them toning it down. So be it. But yeah, to me, it's just no make no sense to me. It's done. Um, doesn't mean I'm wishing ill on it. If it does great and fans both old new give song to it, then so be it. But I just don't see it. At least not in the way they want to show it. Um, that's my opinion on that. As for Star Wars, I'm gonna say this. This has been an interesting year. I seen the trailer, love the trailer. I'm pumped up for the trailer, but I am concerned about some of the backstories that I'm hearing. Mark Hamill bashing the director. That's one of them. Reshoots of the film, which understandably because of Carrie Fisher's passing. That's another one. Some lot of questions regarding the character's faith, which is going to be very interesting because from day one, even before Carrie Fisher's passing, there was hint that she may be morally injured, where she's not going to be in charge of the resistance. Keep in mind, we don't know too much about how the film is. There's people guessing about the term of the Last Jedi. I agree with two of the theories that Luke realizes that the Jedi's were not as all innocent as they all claim to be, and he went to find more resources. Keep going, digging deep into the Jedi's past. Basically, being in the middle, not the dark, not the light, but in the middle, bringing true balance, the way balance is supposed to be, accepting both the light and the dark, and recognizing that they both exist even well long after you are gone. But then these are all speculation. The truth is, I am pumped up to see this movie. I am pumped to see where it's going to go. I think it's going to go a totally different direction. It's not going to follow the Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi philosophies, as many people complain about The Force Awakens. I think this is going to do a totally different story with these casts. You're going to see a lot more focus on these casts than you are when you have seen in The Force Awakens. I think they're going to go on the right path. I'm looking forward to the Han Solo story, although I don't think it's going to follow the books at all. In case you guys know, the Han Solo trilogy was one of my personal favorites. It shows how he met Princess Leia before he even realized Princess Leia, how it went to full circle, why he was hunted down by Boba Fett and everything else. It really was a good book. I don't think they're going to follow it too much. I am interested in seeing how Kylo Harrison and them get along. He was the original owner of the Falcon, so I'm kind of curious how they're going to.
Black guy in Star Wars, I know.
We're not going to let that go, ain't you?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever. It's not that I'm holding on to it like a grudge, but I just sort of find it funny that it's like,
All right.
if you look at it. I'm just gonna shut up
I
now.
will say this, and Johnson, I want you to help me dispel something because there's a lot of things that people are going up, and I'm gonna just knock it down right now. Let's start with Rogue One. Good movie. I liked it. Some flaws to the storyline. I didn't think the storyline was well fleshed out. Dialogue was more fleshed out, but I think the third act was the strongest. But it's not. That's not the problem here. Why are people mad because there was no beginning crawl in that movie?
I didn't
You
mind no fucking. I didn't mind there be no crawl.
do
I
understand
mean,
that.
for me, it helped differentiate it from the main movies and the anthology movies. Like the anthology movies had their own beginnings, so that you can, even if you're not aware if it's an anthology reasons, you'll know that it's definitely not one of the main Star Wars film because there's no crawl.
And here's the thing. This is an inquel. Keep that in mind. It's starting. It's at the very core of how things have happened leading to the New Hope. You already seen the crawl. It was in the New Hope. They explain what happened.
Rev Resner just replied to the text saying that sure he doesn't mind, doing the podcast.
So we'll make you guys arrange that date. In any case, that was one. Number two. I think we can safely say that Rey is not Luke's daughter. Can we give it that theory? It is not possible.
I'm not going to say anything of yes or no about that.
I would think that Luke would have recognized his own daughter by now.
I think that, well, it didn't show that he didn't recognize her. The look he sort of gave her was more of like someone waking you up, like, what, oh, there's a person here. Not really like, oh, who is this person? I don't know who this person is.
And number three, this is probably the most important one. Why is everybody so into seeing Finn and Rey get together?
Oh, God.
Why is that such a big deal? I mean, can they have good chemistry by just being friends?
Okay, remember I'm a multi-shipping whore, so I am definitely not going to be. So I wouldn't mind them being together because they do have good chemistry, but I actually don't really want to see them end up, like, I wouldn't mind if they ended up, I wouldn't be hating it like I do Jon and Daenerys, but I don't really want them to just, God damn it, like how to put these thoughts into, actual understandable words. It's basically both of them were there when they were opening up to the world, and so the reason they would, at least for the first movie only, I don't know how things will go in the sequels, but for the first movie, they really had no one else there that they can remember. So when they got together, it would be more of, I'm getting with you because you're the first person I saw, so let's bang. Which, unless they evolve their storylines together, I just won't really, then just not too into it.
Well, here's the thing. I think I know one more thing. This seemed to be more than anything else between Finn and Rey. I don't know. Poe and Finn, stop. Just stop. Okay, why did Disney actually give you that much hint? Which I didn't see. Why is it these things are surfacing? The bromance.
Yeah, well, from what I hear, like one little scene that fans, that shippers like myself have pointed to, behind the scenes, it seemed like Oscar Isaacs was just fucking joking off and gaying it up. Not like there was supposed to actually be something there canonically. Just because there's an actor who's an asshole and that likes to joke around. Sort of like with Skyfall, when James Bond and the bad guy first meet, it's sort of been confirmed behind the scenes that they kept on trying to make it more and more gay people behind the cameras had to tell them to stop.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so it's basically, I've heard from the actors. I think I've heard that from an interview from Daniel Craig, so it's confirmed. So it's not like, so some things that might confirm some gay ships are just, actors being assholes together. And not
Look.
that their characters are supposed to be that way.
I'm just kind of curious on how this director's going to take a direction, because here's the thing. Mark Hamill, for some reason, there's a lot of stories that Mark Hamill didn't like the direction the director was taking it, and I'm kind of curious as how true that is. I'm also curious about one thing, because this is not the first time we've seen stars or producers or people who create the movie get mad at directors. Keep in mind, George Lucas' most hated Star Wars film is actually the best Star Wars film ever made. He hates that film for some reasons. Empire Strikes Back he does not like. I don't know why, but he does not like it. And for the record, that film was not critically praised when it first came out either. So Return of the Jedi was the way it was, even though if you read the original draft, not exactly as lighthearted than people actually remember. I'm actually going off screen.
You're trying to run away from the camera. Run away.
So that's my feeling on it. I am looking forward for those films. And that's pretty much it. It's been a slow year for films for me. This was. You're looking at you're trying to look up something on your phone. I want to know what it is.
No, it's nothing. I'm just scrolling through the news feed as you talk about things. I'm listening to you, but it's just like I have nothing to add, so I'm just here.
You in your Pokemon shirt. See you in your Pokemon shirt. That's all I gotta say. Okay, we're out.
This is actually my PJ shirt. Actually, I didn't change before filming today because someone's phone was messed up.
Yeah, unfortunately. I gotta find out what it is. Alright, that's all we got for the time being. Freestyle, as always. We'll be back to our original format, whatever that may be. And until next time, guys, this is J77 along with Josh. You can say take care, be safe. We'll see you the next J&J Mondays. On a Sunday next week.
Yeah, on a Sunday, like usual.
Alright.